Hi friends, welcome to WebChamp. In this video, I am going to discuss the difference between primary key, foreign key, unique key, and composite key. So if you are preparing for the SQL developer interview, so this question is for you because there is a term called database normalization. So before going to the normalization, obviously you should understood what is a primary key, what is a foreign key, what is a unique key, what is a composite key, and obviously normalization is a later part, but before that data modeling comes into the picture. So for the modeling purpose to creating a relationship between tables, you should understood the types of keys in SQL. So first is a primary key. It is a column that uniquely identify each row in a table. So meaning there is a one table, but that table must have a one column that should help to identify the entire record or entire row using the value of that column. So that column should houses always unique values, and primary key column should not contain null values. And next is the primary key is always only one for each table. We cannot have more than one primary key for a table. When we create a primary key, so in most of the databases, what it does, it creates automatically. Automatically, it creates unique clustered index. So indexation is again helpful to fetch the data, to query the data from the database. Right. So here, if I open this, let me open the SQL query editor. So if I make the connection, let me open the connection with the database. Okay, this is done. Then this is what my database name. Under these, I must have tables. Even here, I have a small table. Okay, let me select this and say connect. Invalid object name dbo.student. Okay, this is fine because database is not selected properly. Okay, so here you will be able to see that this is a very small table, but still, student ID column. This is the data for the student. Okay, student ID column. It should always have the unique values to identify the each record of the student. So here any number of columns should be there, but for each row there is a unique identifier required. Right. So this type of column can be referred as a primary key. Right. So this is all about the primary key. It's not like that we have only four keys. We have more than four keys. So we will discuss all these one by one. Then foreign key. Again, obviously we are applying the key constraints on the column. So it is a column that establish a relationship between two tables. Right. So here, this is the primary key table, and let's say if this another one is or student marks table is the foreign key table. So it always create foreign key always create a referential integrity. Okay. So meaning when you create the second table, you will define the foreign key. That key column should always refer to the student data's ID table. So what does mean by referential integrity then? Right. So if you ask me, so the value in the foreign key column must match a value in the referenced primary key. Meaning here, if my this ID column of the student marks table is going to refer to the ID column of the student's table or student info table. So if the student info is not available for the any specific ID, how you can enter or how you can add or how you can insert the records into the second table? So you should not, right? Meaning your database should not accept the records which are not exist in the primary key. So this kind of referential integrity is achieved using the foreign key. Foreign key always refer to the primary key of another table, but you can give the reference of unique key also. In primary key column, you cannot have null, but in foreign key column, you can have the null values unless specified otherwise. Meaning, until and unless it is restricted externally, not to allow the null value. Otherwise, it is going to accept. A single table can have multiple foreign keys. This is possible. Single table can have multiple foreign keys. And we already talked about the ensure referential integrity. So this is about the foreign key. The next is unique key. If you want to ensure the uniqueness of values in that column, unique key is used. Then what is the difference between primary key and unique key? Foreign key is that is used for the relationship purpose. But what is the difference? Both the columns, meaning the primary key column and unique key column, has the unique values. But in primary key, null values are not accepted. In unique key, a single null value is accepted. But only one, not more than one. A table can have more than one unique keys, that is even fine. And when we create unique key constraint or when we apply the unique key constraint, it creates a non-clustered index by default. So next is composite key. A composite key is made up of two or more columns that together uniquely identify a row in table. Sometime what happens, you will not be able to get a single column in that table which has a unique value. So in that case, what we will do is we will find another column, and if we combine the value of those two columns, we may get a unique value for the entire row to identify that row. So if this type of key, meaning when we use two or more columns together as a key, in that time we can say that the whatever the key we have built is composite key. It ensures uniqueness based on the combination of values in the specified column. That is fine. Two or more columns. It can be defined as a primary key or unique key. So that column can be defined either as a primary key or unique key. Now let's do a small comparison. So here you can see that in with respect to uniqueness, primary key, unique key, and composite key, all these three keys are these three columns where the key has been defined that should have the unique values. Unique key only accept null. Composite key and primary key do not accept null. Then primary key and composite key will be the only one per table, but foreign key and unique key can be multiple per table. When we create these type of keys on any specific table, so primary key create clustered index. Foreign key do not create an index. Unique key create non-clustered index. Composite key creates clustered or non-clustered index. And the purpose of all those keys is uniquely, meaning primary key is just used to uniquely identify the rows. Foreign key is used for the relationship between tables. Then composite key again uniquely identify the rows based on the multiple columns. So these are the four mainly types of keys are you will see, but still there are few more types of keys in SQL. So after primary key, foreign key, unique key, composite key, there is something called candidate key. What does mean by this? Okay, so the column that can be qualified as a primary key, we refer that column as a candidate key, meaning sometime there may be a chance you may have more than one column that has unique values. Here if you say, so student email id, obviously email id between the peoples should not be same, so it differ. If you use the any other type of identification, like let's say if you use the Aadhaar number, a PAN number, so that is always unique for each person, right? So those columns if we add, so we can have more than one columns that qualify as a primary key. So all those columns are considered as a candidate key. A table can have multiple candidate key. This is what I speak. If we have ID, then we have a PAN number, we have other numbers. So all these columns, if we add the mobile number, even that is different for each of the person. If we add the another column for the email, so that is also a different, but that will be also unique for each row. So out of all these candidate keys, what we will do, we will select only one primary key. Right. So this is about the candidate key, the column which is which qualifies for the primary key is nothing but candidate key. We can have multiple candidate keys in a table, but we cannot define each candidate key column is a primary key. So we can have only one in a table. Right. So next is super key. Now a set of one or more columns that uniquely identify rows in table. And when we, meaning this is about the composite key, one or more columns. Okay, sometime one column maybe there in composite key. Obviously, we will not have one column, more than one column will be there. But here, either a one or more columns that uniquely identifies a row in a table. That is what called super key. So candidate key is a minimal super key, meaning smallest set of attributes. Attributes is nothing but columns. So smallest set of columns required for the uniqueness. This is what it means. And the primary key is also super key. Okay, so we can say the primary key is also super key. So if I come here, let's say I have this ID, then email ID, and to bring the uniqueness. Okay, what I can do is, meaning I'll have more than one candidate key, right? So ID is the candidate key, then email ID is the candidate key, then Aadhaar number or PAN number is again candidate key. So all these three separately called as a candidate key. But if we create a column that is a combination of any of the two or one or more columns to make the relationship stronger or to build the relationship stronger relationship. So all these called, meaning together the candidate key or combination of candidate key is a super key. Right. So now there is something called alternate key. A key that is not selected as a primary key, but yes, that is a candidate key, meaning that column has unique values and not null values. So we can say that that column should be, meaning that column could be primary key, but we have not selected that. That is nothing but alternate key. The table can have multiple alternate keys. That is fine. Then there is something called surrogate key. So surrogate key, again, it is a system generated. So like auto incremental integers is a surrogate key. So this surrogate key is used when no natural keys exist or to improve the query performance. Otherwise, there is no business meaning to have the surrogate key in the table. Right. Then there is something called natural key. So natural key that has a real word meaning like email ID or SSN or Aadhaar number or PAN number or phone number. So all these will be always unique. So we can say that these columns are natural keys. So natural key is prepared in some cases for the better business understanding, to build the logic and all, but not that much. It completely depends on the data sets. So unlike surrogate key, so these natural keys can be used in the analysis or to build the relationships. Right. So this is about all about the types of keys in SQL, and we have discussed in detail how the keys. So if you know the meaning of each keys, obviously you are good to go for the database normalization concept to understand in detail. So I hope you like the content of this video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a nice day. Please do not forget to subscribe web channel.